Hi, family. Okay, still continuing on with toxic people, toxic behaviors, and toxic relationships. So, some of the seven red flags to look for to know if you are in a toxic situation are, and I'm just going to list these first and then we're going to talk about them a little bit. The first one is gaslighting or crazy making behavior. So, if something happens or you're looking at your relationship and you're going, am I crazy? That's usually a result of gaslighting behavior. Okay, so one is gaslighting. Two, the person has a lack of empathy. So they're unable to put themselves in your shoes. So they can't even relate to anything. And you find yourself over and over trying to explain to them like how that made you feel, or how that was insensitive, or how they were being disrespectful, or hurtful, and they don't get it at all. Like literally they really seem not to get it. Now sometimes that might be an act, but anyway. So lack of empathy. Pathological lying or excuses. So when they do something that's wrong, you ask them, they tell you they're going to go and fill up the car, and they take your car. They have their own car now, but they take your car to go fill it up, and they're going to wash it. And it's like a 30-minute, event that, they come back, a day later or 6 hours later, and they have some long drawn out story of what has happened. Yeah, pathological lying and excuses. Physical symptoms, that's a red flag. And in this case, physical symptoms are within us, what we feel. So if a relationship with someone, and let me just say, when we're talking about, even though we've been talking about the dark triad, narcissist, Machiavellianism, and I can't even say it, sociopathy, even though that's what we've kind of been focused on, like I've said in each other video of the other videos, don't focus on the labels, focus on what's going on, the characteristics, the qualities, so that you can determine if this relationship is toxic. When we talk about physical symptoms, we're talking about that uneasiness that you feel. Something just isn't right. And you've got to trust that, because that's a red flag that you should not ignore. Another red flag is provoking jealousy or rivalries. So someone who does that is probably a toxic person. I didn't get that. So Siri, I'm not talking to you. I don't know why Siri wants to talk to me in the middle of this video, but she does. So anyway, someone who does that, whether it's a relationship, a friend, or whatever, and be careful about who you're calling a friend, because if they're competing with you and provoking jealousy or rivalries, they're probably not a good friend, and they're probably a toxic person. So that's something to look at. When you're talking about love relationships, and well, this could be love or not love relationships, but triangulation is another red flag. Triangulation is a situation where they use other people to kind of keep you always in this, this whole almost a competition again. They surround themselves with people who are quote unquote potential replacements, potential mates, former mates, exes, baby mamas. They keep all these people, present in the relationship. And that's a form of manipulation. So that's something to look for. And then last but certainly not least, someone who's backstabbing and gossiping. If they're that way towards someone else, so they're telling you things about their friends or their sister or their brother or their family, then they're doing the same with them about you. So just remember that. And those are some red flags that you might be dealing with a toxic person. Okay, so now let's go into some specifics. So let's go back to number one, gaslighting. Gaslighting, also called crazy making behavior. I think there was a movie that was done back in the 60s or somewhere back there. Google it, I don't know. But and it was about gaslighting. And it was where this guy was making, I tried to watch it. It's not fun to watch at all because, you know, I'm used to like modern day movies, and this is like the old film. But anyway, there's this guy who's trying to make his wife feel like she's crazy. And so he's doing all these little things and then saying he didn't. And so when she's saying something, you know, things happen, it's like, what? No, that didn't happen. No, I never did that. No, I didn't say that. I didn't do that. Well, gaslighting is just that. It's blatant denial of behavior that someone is doing to provoke you. And whether they're doing it intentionally to provoke you, or they're just doing the behavior and it's just rude and inconsiderate, and then when you're calling them on it, they're denying it. But you saw it, like you saw it with your own eyes, and they're like, no, that's not what you saw. No, I saw you. I saw you driving down the street with your ex in the car in my vehicle. No, that wasn't who that was. That was my mom. Your mom lives in Oklahoma. Well, she flew down. I had to take her back to the bus stop. Oh, so you flew down but had to take her to the bus stop. You know, all that kind of crazy stuff. Like literally, it's stuff that, you know, it doesn't make sense, but they make you think you're crazy. They make you think you're crazy. So that's called gaslighting or crazy making behavior. A person that has this tendency to gaslight and do these types of behavior typically will be the person that you meet and they're telling you about their relationships and their exes and what happened and whatever, and everybody's crazy. Oh, she was crazy. Oh, she's crazy. It's so funny to me. I love being around people because I love studying people, but I love being around guys when they're talking because they're not all of them, not the ones that I hang around now because they're good quality guys, but narcissists or narcissistic type manipulative and exploitive men will tend to talk about how crazy their ex was, or how crazy all of them were, or how crazy their baby mama is or was or whatever. Why? Because the behavior that they're doing is manipulative, crazy making behavior. And when you call them on it, they can't see their own behavior. Or if they do see it, they don't see it in a way that is in alignment with reality, I guess is the simplest way to say that. So they're kind of in a delusion, and in their delusional world, everybody's crazy but them. And so when you're talking to a guy that might be a toxic person, or girl that might be a toxic person, friend, whatever, typically they're going to talk about in their interactions with other people how they were crazy. They tend to accuse you of intentionally provoking them. So any behavior that they do that's, you know, rude or obnoxious, or they get loud in public, or they ignore you, or anything like that, when you call them on it, they'll accuse it and turn it around on you. And then you'll catch yourself going, well, did I do that? And it'd be something you didn't even do. Like, it's something you didn't even do or say. And they will just flat out, I mean, it's so bizarre to me. And it's just amazing how this thing works, because they will make shit up. Like, and it is nowhere near the truth. It didn't ever happen. But they will make it up and say it as if it's real. And then because they believe their own lies a lot of times, they really believe it happened that way. And so that can be crazy making behavior for you. And dealing with this type of person over long term really can have mental implications. It really can, because you'll question your reality, you'll question your decisions, you'll question everything about your sanity when you're in this type of relationship. So once again, I do not want to get out of this without saying, if you're in this kind of relationship, get out of it, and go out, find your own healing, get a therapist, get a good counselor, get a close friend who knows a little bit about this or has had some experience with this to help you find ways to get out. There are also 12-step groups that help with this. So if you know, everything's available on Google, but if you have a specific question and you want to hit me up in the comments, do so, and I'll be very willing to help get you in contact with someone who can help you get out of the situation. So gaslighting is a big one. And I'm going to just give this little example of a situation where it's like, you know, the gaslighting. I was dating this guy, and we had been in a relationship for quite a while. It was like over a year. And so there was this certain type of bath product that I love from Bath Body and Beyond. And so I would wear it all the time, like it was my scent. So anyway, so with you know, this person tends to lean in the direction of covert narcissism. I'm not a therapist, so I can't counsel. I mean, I can't diagnose anybody, but they tend to lean in that direction. So what was really interesting is what, you know, the cycle of a narcissist is, it's kind of this love bombing where you're perfect, you're on this pedestal, you're everything. And then once they get you, then all of a sudden they start devaluing. This is wrong, that's wrong, this is wrong, that's wrong. And then at the end they discard and they move on, or you move on, whichever way it happens. And so in this particular relationship, I was kind of in the devaluing stage when I look back at it. And so we're at this restaurant. I have on the same stuff that I've been wearing. Well, mind you, you know, before then they had mentioned, you know, that all of a sudden they're kind of allergic to that scent. You know, I'm allergic to that scent. It's just too strong. It's something about it. Before they loved it, like absolutely loved it. And it was, the scent specifically is called Energy from Bed Bath and Beyond. And so it's this just subtle little scent, just smells really good. So anyway, all of a sudden they were allergic. The scent was too strong, whatever. So I'm kind of like, you know, not using that. And it's a bath gel. It's not like cologne, you know, it's very light. Anyway, stop using it, whatever. So we're at a restaurant and the waitress comes up and she's serving. And so this person goes, oh, you smell so good. So the poor lady, she's like, you know, sweet Hispanic lady in her probably mid 50s or whatever. Like she was so, it made her feel awkward. So she was just kind of like, you know, like, I'm trying to serve and you're smelling me, like, you know, whatever. I didn't smell the lady. But anyway, he did that. So she's like, thank you. And then she goes, how can I help you? You know, so she's doing the order or whatever. And so then he said, what is it that you have on? And I thought, and now I'm kind of going, well, like, why are you like really pushing this? So anyway, but he asked the question. So she goes, oh, it was a Mother's Day gift from my son. And she goes, it's from Bed Bath and Beyond. It's called Energy. Oh my God. Like, and so this is how this whole thing plays out. So she says that. I'm like, oh my God, that's what I wear all the time. I said, that's what you said you were sensitive and allergic to. I know, I don't know. I guess because I hadn't smelled it in a while. It just smells so good, you know. So anyway, that's an example of gaslighting and crazy making behavior and manipulation. It's provoking, provocative, a way to basically get me off-centered and kind of going, okay, is he messing with me? Is this, you know, or whatever. So one of the things that I've learned out of that relationship, and all of them probably compiled, and I want to share with you, is when you're with someone and they do things like that, and you catch yourself in that, I don't understand what just happened, you know. Continue to watch, because if you continue to see that kind of behavior, that's probably gaslighting behavior, crazy making behavior. And then down the road, you know, if you say something or ask something about it, then all of a sudden you're jealous or you're insecure or you're whatever. I tend to not really ask about it. I tend to make notes. I'm a big journaler. So I've learned over the time, and because I kind of study the way people's brains work, I just keep a journal of all that stuff. And then after I'm done with the relationship and I move on, then I go back and I read all that stuff and I remember it, and it's like, oh, that was gaslighting, or that was this. So anyway, gaslighting is a big red flag. If you're dealing with someone who's doing that with you, definitely move around. It's just not worth it. I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off because it's getting a little bit long. If this is useful to you, definitely click the link, the subscribe link, and then please share it. Hit the thumbs up button if you like it. Give me some feedback in the comments if you've experienced this or something similar, or if you're experiencing something now, and want some feedback from me. So thanks so much for coming, and I so appreciate all the people who take time out to watch the videos. Thanks, and have a great day.